This is particular thing is for the rest of us to adjust so that they can be very productive. If somebody wants to move, let them. How does it affect you and me? We need to train ourselves that this thing is going to continue to stay moving and we are going to still function. So much information going in. First period maths, second period English, third period EVS. This is full. They need to move about a little bit so that more information can go in. Stretches are all acceptable by everybody. Laughing is acceptable by everybody. All of these things help. Blowing, and this can be done in a classroom. So you just do 3 blows. You do with acupressure people, that rolls on your skin, but each one of these red thingies moves individually as well as a group. So it becomes a great fidget thing to have again to the bag or in the box. Hello. Today I'm going to talk about a topic that's very dear to me. It is ADHD without being formally diagnosed. You have a child, you have an adult, you have a colleague who finds it extremely difficult to sit still. What are the few things that we as the environment can do for people who are having a difficulty in sitting still, in attending, in focusing? They keep moving, they keep fidgeting. This is particular thing is for the rest of us to adjust so that they can be very productive. The first thing that we generally tend to do is recommend that not have this imposition on movement. If somebody wants to move, let them. How does it affect you and me? We need to train ourselves that this thing is going to continue to stay moving and we are going to still function. Especially if it's a classroom setting, this particular thing is for teachers. You have a child that is not sitting still. Not only do we need to teach the child that is not sitting still, but we also need to teach the 25 others that it is okay. It is his way of learning is by moving, or her way of learning is by moving. How do we continue to learn when somebody is moving at the side? Provide a safe space in the classroom, or this should be true for every child if they need a movement break, because just sitting and taking in information becomes after a point. It's like every time when you, in the beginning of the month, you buy all your groceries, you have your fixed containers of rice and fixed container of sugar, fixed container of atta. What do? You pour it, the container gets full and there's still some atta left and you shake the container and then you pour the rest. Isn't that what we do? This is what we normally do. So when there is so much information going in, first period maths, second period English, third period EVS, this is full. They need to move about a little bit so that more information can go in, so that they can learn new concepts of geometry, so that they can learn a difficult concept of grammar. It is okay to move. It is not okay to have the whole class be disturbed. So we need to incorporate movement in a classroom that is acceptable by everybody. Stretches are all acceptable by everybody. Laughing is acceptable by everybody. Clapping is acceptable by everybody. All of these things help. During COVID, a lot of our, I won't say insecurities, that is a wrong word, but a lot of our minor issues is a better word. A lot of our minor issues came to the forefront when we started working from home, when we started staying within our own surroundings, where you could turn your video off and go for a walk and come back, where you could turn your video off and lie down and learn, where you could turn your audio and video off and do something else at the same time as you were listening to new information being taught. Once the world has gone back offline, most of the world has gone back, especially the learning has gone back offline, there is a difficulty, there is a problem in trying to sit for that period of time. The need for movement break is always there. You want to comment saying, hey, you used to do it before, haven't done, so what if you just didn't do it for a year and a half? That's not true for children. Some of them have never been to junior KG, senior KG in a school at all. They don't even know that they're supposed to sit. Entire of the last year has just gone in teaching them how to sit. Learning is still taking place. Movement is not a bad thing. There are a few things that can be done in the classroom itself. There are a few things that can be done or given to your colleague, and you'll see a lot of them on my table. So we have fidget spinners. You get a variety of them, very easily available now. This is another variety, this is a faster variety, but my favorite is this one. I am not promoting any product over here. Whatever is available in the market, is available with your own market. So this is a spinner as well as a poppet. This is also available, and it will depend on what need is there, whether the need is there to fidget with the fingers or whether the need is a visual need or a movement need. It satisfies all 2 or 3 different things in a single product. Then you have this one. It's a big ball with small balls inside. Can actually go in. That is what the children do, is they actually go in and they want to squeeze their own color ball. They think it will come out, but it doesn't. There are many such things available, but the easiest ones, which are also socially acceptable, are these zippers, and it stays on there, and it's a zipper. It's just a zip. Comes in matching colors also for girls. Tends to work very nicely to have that movement restricted in a place where it's not disturbing the rest of them. Especially in big corporates where there are many people who have a problem with sitting still and who continuously tend to play with the pens, or with the top of the pen where they keep click, 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 which can be annoying. It's a good idea to just have a bowl of these sitting there. Whoever wants can fidget and leave them back. But the problem is, if they find it too much fun, then it gets pocketed and taken home. So make sure they're easily available. This is another thing that's also available. It's called as a stretchy fidget string. And you can keep it in. Now this can go in a pocket. It can stay in the pocket. It can stay there for you to feel it. It is not sticky or anything. So for those of us who have a problem putting their hands in wet stuff or sticky, gooey stuff, chipku stuff, this is not like that. The things that we ask children to do is this, where you have to take this string, not this away, but individually just make sure that you can roll it over your finger. 3 rolls or 4 rolls, depending on how long your finger is. Another thing that they can do while the teacher is teaching is to tie a knot with this, with only one hand. And that is why I am looking over there and trying to tie a knot without actually looking at what I am doing. So this is how that goes. Or they can tie a knot and bring it and try to remove it while they're paying attention to the teacher. A lot of these things can be as a part of their bags. You put the zippers on the bags, can have key rings with some things provided for the kids or for the adults. It needs to be present on their works area. Because again, if they don't have it, then they get up to find it and then you've lost them totally. Then they're going for a long movement break. The few other things that can be done is very easy, very simply done, is to face the table. Push your chair back a little bit. Put your hands on the table, head up and stretch and come back. That tends to work as well. Then another thing that can be done is blowing, and this can be done in a classroom. So you just do 3 blows. You do. I'm going to make a noise over here. Children and adults are not to make the noise. This is just so it is very clear to you what needs to be done. So it's going to just be hoo. As an adult or as a child, you don't make that noise. But for the demonstration purposes, this is what I'm going to do. So you do hoo. Blow 3 times. But I'm going to hoot like an owl. Alright? So you do or hoo. And that is generally enough to rewire things in your, so okay, attention is back to being where it needs to be. We've talked about these stretches. We've also talked about these stretches. One other thing that can be done is actually touching each finger and then starting to write again. It tends to help with focus, attention, and paying a little more, the finesse of your handwriting gets better. One of my favorite things to have, and I make these, is to have these calming bottles. Now these are all recycled. Everything inside of this is recycled. There's nothing that I have bought and put in. In this particular one is beads with alphabets on it and rubber bands. Now rubber bands are lighter, so they tend to move up, and beads are heavier, so they tend to move down. And when you shake it, it can be very calming. Now this is a single color. Also, the calming colors are blues and greens. Other calming color that I have found is orange. Surprisingly, red is, obviously red is not calming, but orange tends to be a little calming. This is a multicolored. We started with almost no color to it, and there are alphabets in there, and we tend to ask anybody is to find the alphabet. All the alphabets are in there. You have to find the alphabet from where your name begins. So mine begins with an M. I need to find the M. And by the time I'm done, my focus is better because I've shifted away from whatever I was doing, looked somewhere else. And that is so calming as the dust settles over there. When we were growing up, we used to have these snow cones that we used to buy whenever we visited, did some sightseeing, used to get those snow cones. So shake them and put them. They are extremely helpful in that way as well. Another thing that is available is, this is something that's available with, it comes with a huge stick with acupressure people that rolls on your skin. But each one of these red thingies moves individually as well as a group. So it becomes a great fidget thing to have, again, to the bag or in the box. Thank you.